been milking here for a good few years.
Yeah, I took over
When was this parlour built here?
The parlour was built in the 70s, late 70s.
Right, so your father was milking cows?
Father was milking cows here. They bought in 70. They started milking here in 74, 75.
Right.
So they were milking here. I suppose I put up this new parlour here in 2007.
Okay.
I went with Eddie Slattery first in, I'd say about maybe 2003, and I put on 2 extra clusters onto the 6 units that we had.
Yes.
And in 2007 then, we put in a 12-unit parlour.
Yeah.
We extended out here with a collection yard.
Yes.
And I suppose that kept us going until now.
Okay. So how many cows were you milking, say, when you came home farming, how many cows were you milking?
In 99, we started with 37,000 gallon milk quota at that time.
Yeah.
So it was landlocked, and we tried to push on numbers, but we couldn't because we couldn't get quota.
Yeah,
so
a competitive area for milk.
We had pedigree herd here since 78. So what I did was I kept breeding bulls. And that's the only way that I could kind of get cash flow. But as soon as then quota started to become available, I kept on buying as much as I could of it. We moved up the numbers, but I suppose by 2000 and maybe 11 or 12, I'd gone up to maybe 80 or 90 cows. I'd say when I took the biggest boom move was in 2010, 2011. I kept 46 heifers, and I brought them into the herd. That's when I went over the 100 cows.
Right.
So I was leasing quota and buying quota then all along. But I knew this wasn't fit for purpose, because if today was yesterday, we'd have probably built that shed here and put our silage pits down there. But you're learning, constantly learning.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. So you finished with how many units here before you?
12.
Okay, yeah.
12, yeah.
So where were the pressure points here now that made you make a decision to invest?
I had to, because cows coming out is trying to keep the yard clean.
Yeah.
It was a disaster. And along with that too, when we started walking outside at the start of the crush, I'd have to scrape that back every morning.
Right, yeah.
The hand scraper. Like.
Lot of work.
Yeah. You're talking about maybe 2.5 hours in the morning, maybe 2 hours again in the evening, and then you'd have to scrape as well. Then, so you're talking roughly about 5 hours, roughly.
Yeah.
In peak times.
Yes.
But it was. Look, going forward, it was an on-runner. Some people were telling me to add on for it 16, put a 16 cluster unit inside here. It wasn't.
Yeah.
So I just kind of. We're a member of discussion group, CFS discussion group, and there's a lot of progressive farmers in it. So every 2 years they'd be on my farm and they'd see where you're going, what you're going to do, and what your plans are, and what your goals are. And every couple of years that we come here, we'd be saying, what am I going to do? And my numbers are growing and growing every year. And everything was staying the same. The yard wasn't fit for purpose. So I asked him, where would I go? What would you do? I gave them a blank canvas. The same thing as I gave Grasstec when they came. And I said, where would you go with the parlour? I went to Greenfield site. I know this isn't working for me. And we had that kind of discussed before Simon came on site. And luckily enough, we had kind of exhausted every avenue, because there's 18 guys inside, 17 including myself. And to be fair to them, nearly every fellow would say that he'd put it here or put it there. So we had a good debate that day.
Yes.
But it was one of the members there that said to me, he said, if you're serious about this, he said, there's only one crowd to call. So that's why I heard about you. And I never looked back from then.
Right. So the process started with maybe surveying the site.
Yeah, they did.
See what you have here currently.
I think it was Kevin Cashman, is that his name is?
Yes.
Yeah, he came and they surveyed the whole site, levels, the whole lot. Simon came beforehand, and then he sent on Kevin. And Simon came in, and like I said to Simon, I said, this is your yard now. I said, it's a blank canvas. I said, I don't care where it goes. I said, I want to know where would you're professional here.
Yeah.
So, luckily enough, we were in the same. He said the same thing. He said, there's only one place I can go. Now he was talking about going down where the round tower was, until he saw that the round tower was there.
Yeah.
So when he saw the round tower was there, he said exits and everything. So this kind of process went on for a while, and I wasn't happy, and we were going this and we were doing that, and we just one day, I'd say, it kind of clicked at me that maybe I was kind of. What I said to him was, that what would I do if I could put the collection yard? I wasn't happy with the collection yard. I thought it was too small, because I wanted it bigger, because I didn't want the collection yard to be too small. I wanted it to be as big as it could possibly be. I wouldn't be empty at it as often.
Right.
So we were talking one day, and I said to him, what if I put it half and half, a collection yard. I said, down at the back of the shed, push back our parlour a small bit, and I could get more cubicles with that. So he started drawing it up, and everything just fell into place then after that.
Very good.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
So before we leave here, that parlour owes you nothing anyway.
No, it doesn't.
It's a lot of work done.
No,
Yeah.
and I would actually hate to tell you how much I paid for it. It cost me nothing.
Yeah.
It cost me nothing.
Yeah. Because
I got a great trade in again. It's still a very good parlour. Like
it is.
It's
It'll
like
suit somebody.
bought.
Yeah.
So it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Shall we go and see your new project, so?
Yeah. No problem.
So Pat, historically your cows used to come up here in the middle of the yard?
Yes. Just come up here, entrance into the parlour, and exit down the same way as well.
Yeah.
But it was fine. Like, if they're going back in, but if they're going to grass, they go down here or turn back here to the other side of the farm. But if they weren't going to grass, we say the bad day they'd have to go back in again, they'd all lighter here.
Yeah, because they didn't want to go that way.
They didn't want to go down there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they went to grass.
Okay. So keeping yards clean and traffic and stuff like that was a big challenge then?
Trying to keep this place, and even down here, keep it clean as well.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. Like.
Okay.
You would have it clean one day, and the following day to be back as.
Yeah. So in your yard here, I see that there's, you've quite a fall. So managing levels was a challenge in the design process.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. Well, I'd say you wouldn't realise the levels until we did a site survey.
Right.
Because in the existing shed, the land level before we put on the 3 extra bays, the shed is 100 feet long, and the natural fall in the ground was 17 feet.
Okay.
So from the top of the shed in the 100 feet, it fell 17 feet.
Right. Huge. Yeah.
That was the actual natural ground level that was there.
Yeah.
So it made.
Yeah. So from where we stand here now,
Yes.
say inside when we go in here in a minute, roughly what is the height difference?
I'd say it's over 2 meters, like
Right.
2.5
Okay.
meters. I'd
Yeah.
say, roughly
Yeah. Okay.
to the parlour floor to where we are here.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. So this is effectively a retaining wall here then.
Yes.
More or less
Yeah.
to keep the.
Yeah. Now we were hoping initially that we could have this at the same level as that.
Yeah.
But there will be about 14 feet from here to the red card above.
Okay.
It'd be too much of a gradient.
Yes.
For the milk tank to go in
Yeah.
and out.
Yeah.
So it was an non-runner thing, like, so that's why we kind of built a retaining wall and we put the slopes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we walk in here, I see you don't have steps. You decided to go for a ramp.
A gradual ramp, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I thought
Are you
it was
happy
more
with that?
I am, yeah, because it's easier. No, everybody's different, but
Yeah.
I don't like steps.
Yes.
Steps are, they can be troublesome, like,
Yeah.
they can be slippery and they can be anything like that. But with the concrete advice, I was very lucky with the lads that did the concrete, like.
Okay.
So I took a lot of their emphasis too, like what they were talking about and what they were
Right. Who was your builder?
advising. John McMahon, McMahon Shuttering Concrete.
Okay. Very
He was
good.
actually, yeah, he was very, very good. Very good.
So you went for a DeLaval tank anyway.
I did.
What
Yes.
size?
16,000 litres.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Direct expansion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went for an auto washer.
Yeah, they're more or less kind of that kind of standard now, I'd say, with all the
Okay.
new guns.
Had you one previously?
No, I had not. No.
Okay. And what benefit have you seen of that?
No. Time totally. It's washing down the panel now when you're finished. All you have to do is press a button, take out the snake filter sock, and press a button.
Right.
I would have probably put that in a long time beforehand, but I knew that I was coming down here, so I was going to wait for the new
Okay.
system. Like,
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sure, we'll walk to the collecting yard so and have a look there.
Yeah.
So Pat, we're up quite high here. We have a great view of the town of Castleisland.
Yes.
What height roughly are you here?
We're about 180 to 190 metres over sea level here.
Okay. Yeah. So
So-
prevailing weather.
Southwest is
Yeah.
facing you this way.
Okay. Yeah. Very good.
So the prevailing wind is coming
Okay.
this way.
So all your cows are coming back here, or say when they come in from grazing, they're typically coming to this direction here.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they have the option of going to your collecting yard or into your sheds.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this was an extension as well, I think, in the design.
Yes. Yeah.
Simon would have done
there's
it.
3 extra bays here.
Yes.
The main reason we did this was trying to cooperate the collection yard to make it maybe dual purpose.
Yeah.
The collection yard would have to be covered if otherwise it wasn't, but it worked because I got an extra 30 cubicles inside in the shed.
Right.
So the collection yard is doing, the tank is doing what it should be doing for the parlour, but not only on that, it's giving me 3 extra bays feeding space and 30 extra cubicles as well inside the shed.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many cows would you typically hold in your collecting yard here, do you think?
About 160.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just from here to here.
Yeah.
So if you want to go and use this as well, you can use that as well.
Yes. Yeah. Good. And when would you typically get to grass here in the spring?
As soon as, well, in a normal spring you get it as soon as 10 or 15 cows, early February.
Yeah.
It's a good dry farm.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So you went for a 20 unit anyway?
20 unit with a 24 unit stall.
Yeah.
Not to keep my options open, that maybe in time to come. We just built the pit longer.
Yeah.
In the sense of that, in time to come you can expand if you want to. So all it is, it'll cost 4 clusters to put it in.
Right, same incline.
You don't have to do any more, the initial build is done.
Yeah. And maybe just a few things then on your, say, the parlour matting. Is it nice to be walking on that?
Oh, Jesus, it's unbelievable difference.
Yeah.
You would not believe the difference until you get used to it.
Okay.
But like everything now, DeLaval's more advice than anything else. The floor of the parlour is kind of shaped in a kind of a offset.
Yeah.
We'll say it's maybe 3 inches, 4 inches higher in the centre.
Yeah.
And gradient down then.
Okay.
So you're kind of standing, without you realise it, you're kind of standing with your,
yeah.
So it takes a lot of heat off the back.
Yeah.
So, and with the mats then as well. You get second aces, but the first time you go in and walk on the mats, I never had the mats before.
Yes.
So well, now you have to take the levels for the mats as well to allow, they're only 20 mils, but still at the same time for standing inside them, it's a massive difference.
Yeah. Okay.
A massive difference.
So you decided obviously for your cup removers, you went for your, in terms of your automation, you went for your cup removers again.
Yes.
And you also went for milk indicators.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And say your reason for the milk indicators?
Well, some people were going to go for meters. I went on the advice of DeLaval. If you want to go to the Del Pro, you could have gone to the next level if you wanted to, but I was happy enough with what I was going with, the advice I was going with.
Yeah. And you see differences between cows? Are you making decisions differently based on what you're seeing with different cows doing?
You'd probably know the good cow anyway.
Yeah.
You would know what she is doing, but it really opens your eye to see what she's doing now. Sometimes the good cow is a lot better than you think she was.
Okay.
Do you know?
And are you reacting to that? Are you giving her an extra bit of feed?
No, it's kind of a batch feed that I give the most.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The dump line, did you have a dump line previously?
I had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you obviously continued with it and happy to do so.
Yeah. Well, it's a no-brainer. Well, not so much this time of the year, but the springtime, you have to have it.
Yeah.
The springtime is have to have it. Yeah. Especially with 20 units.
Yeah. So you've plenty of light. Was it a conscious decision to have plenty of skylights in the over the parlour?
Yeah. That's. I built the shed the gradient of the shed. The roof is about 15 degrees, the angle of the roof, because in time to come, we might use it for solar panels. Okay. It's in the plan. So when the fella that are designing these solar panels, they said if you can have a south-facing roof at 15 degrees, that's the ideal. That was the ideal. That's the reason we put it that way.
Okay. Yeah.
Pitch that way. Yeah.
And so we were seeing earlier, it's DeLaval's new type cluster. Are you happy with it?
Delighted with it.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
It's lightweight. It does everything. It's seemingly cows are peaking now, so you can't really say, but they're milking them all perfect. Yeah. And it's faster. Right. Faster. Yeah. The whole system is a lot faster. But the cows are very happy with them, and I'm very happy with it. Yeah. Great. You also put in a drafting unit. I did. Yeah. Did you have one previously? No. So how did you draft cows previously? It was a major. It had to go in with the system the way it was going, because what we were doing above, climbing out of the pit, trying to stop cows for bullying or whatever like that. Yeah, it's hazardous, isn't it? It's hazardous, and it's time-consuming, and it's stressful on the cows and the person as well. You know, it's whereas this system now it's a dream. Yeah, it's a dream. It's so user-friendly, and in fairness to Alfco, their service and the backup service and everything. They're doing a lot of it. They understand it. Sorry? They're doing a lot of that type of work, so they understand it. They do. They're doing it every year. But they kind of coincide with DeLaval as well. Like, so we went to see different ones, and I think it suited the system best to Alfco. Okay. So before milking, then, are you your routine? Are you leaving the gates open here at the back, or are you keep them closed before? No, keep them closed. Just wet down the parlours. Come in, then wet down the parlour, and start with that gate. I don't open the gates at all now. We're 2 weeks, we're shy of 2 weeks, we're just 10, 12 days inside it, so as in, I'm trying to find the routine to what is happening, so there's a lot of different things going on. Yeah. But in time to come, I never ever went that way, so I kind of went down the parlour when I come. Okay. And let the first row goes in. Yeah. that's the kind of routine I had before. Whether I'll change, I don't know.
Okay. Are you milking the cows on your own, or have you helped there in the pit? Is there one person in the pit
Milking
typically?
the cows most of the time my own. Every morning myself anyway, because I get up early in the morning. But most evenings I have somebody with me. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm a host farmer, so I have students with me.
Yeah. In terms of the construction, how long did it take to do this, to the parlour itself?
We started on the 24th of July here, and the parlour was up and the shed was up and running probably for the end of December.
Right.
Start of December maybe.
Yeah.
Middle of December, you could say. You could have been milking cows for the 1st of January, but there was a lot of fellas that DeLaval had parlours on at the time, and they had a lot of other farmers that they weren't going greenfield side.
Yeah.
They were getting their own parlours and they were putting in their own parlours. So he said to me that he'd leave me at my parlour until he got back.
Yeah. You had an alternative.
I had alternatives, which I was glad to have when I see that stress going through with other farmers. I was glad to have
not
it.
easy when you don't have something else.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, it's a very tight window.
Yeah.
You know, some fellas dried off maybe around the middle of November, and I thought it was very early to be drying them off, but
you want every bit of it.
You'd want every bit of it.
Yeah.
You'd want, and like they were lucky with the builders that they had, that they kept coming when they said they come.
Yes.